Good morning, my beautiful friends. So I am not on my regular computer. My Mac died and I'm on a loaner and I don't have any access to my regular tools because those are all on my Mac. So I'm using this free tool, the free version of the tool that I have a professional license for. But anyway, I only have 15 minutes. So I made a video and then it was too long and then I tried to stitch together, but I don't have that tool on this computer. So it's the whole thing. But anyway, what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk about divination and pulling runes because I haven't done that online for quite a while, and I wanted to bring it back. Now, I think this is true for all of us. I think at some times we kind of get away from our spiritual practice, whatever those practices might be. Whether it's divination or rituals or magic spells or whatever we're into, right? I think sometimes life gets in the way. We get busy, we get distracted, we get bored, we kind of wander away, and then we kind of wander back. That's Marvin, my cat Marvin. It's over there. Why do I like over there behind me? Anyway, so I wanted to pull runes. So for those of you who are new to the channel, and there's a lot of you, so welcome. Thank you for being here. I do read runes, but I use them as a supplement to my religious practice. So I don't think there is a problem between using divination tools and my religious practice, although as a Christian, I know that that's a small majority of us. But I kind of think that a lot of things that we do in the Christian church are divination practices that aren't outlined in any sort of biblical text. And I'm not convinced that the Bible is complete anyway, but that's a whole different video. But I feel like you should do for your spiritual practice whatever brings meaning to you. So I read the stones as a way to think about what I want to meditate about and what I want to journal about and ultimately what I want to pray about. And your divination tools or your divination practice should bring you whatever, whatever comfort or whatever, thinking things that you want to do, for your meditation or for your reflection. That's what divination tools do for me. They give me a place to start. And so I'm not going to pull everything again because I only have 15 minutes and I'm watching my time, but I'll go through the process of what I do because I think on YouTube, there are a lot of people that are genuine in their showcasing of whatever divination practice they have, mostly tarot. There aren't a lot of rune readers. I think I might still be the only one that reads runes here on YouTube. But there are people who are genuine and they're absolutely worth watching. I do not read tarot. I read runes, but tarot is just not my tradition. I watch other channels. But there is a lot of commercial uses of tarot as well, or oracle cards and readings, and people will say you have to do it this way or you have to do it that way. You don't. You're a grown adult. You can do it any way you want. These are tools for enriching your spiritual path, so there is no right or wrong. You do it the way that resonates with you and that helps you connect to your spirit guides or your higher power, or if you're religious, your God, whatever. So I like to read runes. I got my runes in Scotland. I keep some special stones in my rune bag with my runes, starting with the Green Man. So in the Celtic tradition, we see God in everything, including ourselves, but we see God in trees, we see God in plants, we see God in animals. So, God is in us, all around us, all of the time. And so we have a special relationship with trees. We have a special relationship with rocks and standing stones and things like that. So I have different stones. These are from Iona, a small isle in the Inner Hebrides. And I have a stone from Iceland that my boss brought back. I have marble from Scotland. And I have just a wax seal that one of my spirit sisters had sent a few years ago, just as a reminder that we're all connected through love. And then I have a St. Bridget's coin also sent to me by one of my sisters. I don't want to say her real name, and for whatever reason, her, you know who you are, New Yorker. I cannot remember right this second what your YouTube name is, and I don't want to say your real name. But just a reminder that we're all connected through light and love. We're all connected. So it's interesting that I've been in my sort of, coming back to my spiritual practice, I've been really led down this path of choosing love each and every time, responding in love. And that's hard to do because sometimes I'm a fiery redhead. Before I went gray, I was a fiery redhead. Sometimes I don't want to respond in love. Sometimes I really don't. And sometimes I get like, frustrated and I want to react right away. But as I grow older, I'm trying to really, temper my responses and respond in love. And sometimes that's hard, but it's something to work toward. And as if you watch things like near-death experiences and you believe in the life review, and you believe in that love that exists on the other side, we realize that our purpose here is to love one another and to spread love in the world, and that's what combats the darkness. And so, so I thought, okay, that's kind of the space I'm in now. So I pulled a rune when I did this video the first time, and the stone that came up, and I pull all my stones out. I ask my spirit guide Seth and Adam to give me the stone that that I should focus on in my reflection, and then I picked Gibo, which happens to be my favorite stone. And just so you know, if you're new to the channel, these aren't raised in any way, so it's not like I can pick Gibo out of the bag. I just feel around for a stone that feels different, that I should pull it. This is the one that I pulled, and Gibo means gift. And I have a book that I mean, I don't, after all these years, have to rely on this book, but I have a book that has all the rune meanings of, all the different research that I've done on all the different runes. And I just read through it just to remind myself what the rune means. And of course, it means gift, balance, exchange, partnership, relationship, generosity, gift, giving and taking, trading, pledging. The gift of freedom is the best gift. Be generous, accept generosity, equal partnership and balance. And Gibo has no inverse. Some runes have an inverse position, but Gibo does not. And so I thought that was really, really resonated with what I'm studying, what I'm thinking about right now, which is how do we, like when you watch these near-death experiences, like they all come back with this idea that our purpose is to spread love and to act in love and to spread love around. And, how can we do that and be living in the present and in every present moment, try to be an inspiration for the next moment. And you think about like, one negative little tiny thing, like you're at a restaurant and you're nasty to the server, that can snowball, that makes the server have a bad day, that server goes home and makes a bad decision because they've had a bad day, and it can snowball into a really bad thing. And in our life review, we're going to see that. But the same is true of good things that we do. Like if we do something good, you see that same server, after her shift, and she's at the store trying to get diapers, and she has one, she's short $1, and you have the dollar, give the dollar, so that, because then now down the line when she's finished with college and her kids are a little older and she has a little bit more money, she'll be in line and she'll give that dollar and she'll help somebody. So good can snowball just as bad as bad can. And in our life review, we're going to find out what it is we did and how our choices impacted others. So then I read oracle cards. I don't read tarot. It's not my tradition. I have nothing against it. I do watch some tarot readers on YouTube. I shuffle 3 times. I knock 3 times. I blow my energy in, and then I deal 3 times, and whatever pops out, I will take. And if nothing pops out in that 3-card dealing, then the stone is meant to stand on itself. But in this particular case, cards did come out. 2 came out together. They kind of stuck out, so they didn't fall out. So that, like, I always think that spirit wants me to think about them, but that's not the focus of the reading. That was Heart Center, which is connected love and receiving, and the Maiden, which is innocence, love, and past. And just a reminder that, like my work focus right now, what I'm going to write about, what I'm going to meditate about is how to bring more love into the world, through this platform on YouTube, but also in my daily living. And then the other card that did fall out and fell on the floor was Divination, Guides, Ogham, and Tree Spirits. Very connected to trees. We have this ongoing debate about the tree out front of our house that it just cracked. We've had so much rain and it cracked and fell in our Jeep. Didn't scratch it, but the dead part fell. And my husband and I have been going back and forth about whether to remove this tree, and I want to keep it and he wants to get rid of it. I don't like killing things because I feel like trees have spirits. So, but the dead part fell off, so it's kind of solved itself. But I think also it's just a reminder that the work I do here on YouTube, in addition to the messages that I have about random stuff, is really to bring a genuine approach to divination styles. This is, of course, not the only way that you can do divination. There's many ways to do divination. This is just what resonates with me. But anything that brings us light and love and brings us closer to our spiritual path, whatever that spiritual path is, right? Whether you're Christian or not, whether you're a pagan or not, whether you're whatever world religion you are, or if you're no religion, right? If you're just a spiritual person who is on a path, you can test things out. There really is no right or wrong way. People will tell you there is. And if you're in a particular tradition, and I don't want to speak on behalf of traditions because I don't know them, but if you're a certain kind of witch, for example, or you belong to a certain kind of coven, they might have rules, just like Christianity has denominations, and each denomination has rules. Judaism has different branches, and they each have rules. You have to accept the rules of whatever you're accepting, but if you're independent or, exterior to those particular belief patterns, you can kind of, create your own, so long as it doesn't hurt anybody, and it isn't manipulative or whatever. Certainly, you can read runestones, you can read tarot, you can do whatever you want, and bring meaning to your life, and help your path along. So I feel like that was the message, that I have a gift of being able to share this kind of work with other people without having to make money. I don't make any money from my YouTube channel. I don't, I have a lot of subscribers, but I don't monetize in any way, so that I can say what I want. And so I have the ability, I have the gift of being able to share light and love with others, and really to help people on their path, which is a very druidic principle. We are all on a path, a spiritual path, and my job isn't to judge your path. My job is to shine light on your path when I can. And if I can't, I love the Quaker idea of coming to consensus. I won't stand in your way. As long as what you're doing is ethical, legal, and not hurting anyone, right? But my job isn't to determine whether or not your path is righteous or not. That's up to you, and between you and your spirit guides, or your divine power, or your higher power, or your higher self. So I am wishing all of you the very best in light and love. Look for more runestone readings. I would be fascinated to hear if you have a favorite rune, or if you have a favorite deck of cards. I have so many cards, but this is the deck of cards that I always pull. I would say that of all the cards I have, these probably don't have the prettiest images of all the cards, but they speak to me the most. They are my go-to. And and I have my book that I've created over time of just things that are interesting to me. Other traditions in the witchcraft tradition, it might be called a grimoire, or a book of spells, or whatever. I don't practice witchcraft, and I don't practice magic. So to me, it's just a resource book, but one that I care very much about. And I have many books like this, but this is my main one, and one that I write in a lot, with different, recipes, or different traditions or rituals that I'd like to try or do. So those are the tools that I use in my spiritual practice. And of course, because I'm Christian, I have access to the Bible, which I could do a whole video about the Bible. But I don't actually believe it's complete. I think there's a lot missing. But I think there's good stuff in there, in addition to other, stuff that might be, regional or topical or whatever, but that's a whole other thing. I feel like, I think what we're asked to do is to bring light and love into the world. So whatever helps you to do that, that's awesome. And I would love to hear about it in the comments below. Please like and subscribe. My name is Beth, and I am so happy you are here. I am wishing you all the very best and brightest. Be well. Take care. Bye-bye.